Um, Let us explore enlightenment in the post-patriarchy era. Our lesson will be based on this evening's excerpt from the vast expanse of the diamond-like mind, known as Dorje Simba Namkache, composed 14 centuries ago by Prahe Vajra, translated from the Tibetan by Chokyo Namkai Norbu, translated from the Italian by Adriano Clemente, adapted and amplified by yours truly. So my intention is for us to relaxingly recite this 4 times together. The great miracle is not difficult. All qualities and capacities immediately arise from oneself through visceral understanding of the authentic condition. I'd like to take a moment or two to explain what this means. The great miracle here is one of the many synonyms for enlightenment. Now, if you were to ask a member of patriarchy what enlightenment is, they might say something mystical and magical, like a state where you never do anything wrong and everything you say and do is beautiful and positive all the time. That is not what the Buddha taught. The Buddha taught that enlightenment was simply mastery of the Eightfold Path. Eightfold Path is a set of tools, and mastering them simply means that we're able to use these tools because we have become so familiar with these tools that we use them spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. Now, although the path is eightfold, the final 2 folds of the path, the 7th and 8th folds of the path, mindfulness and meditation, are the key. Practice mindfulness and meditation authentically, and the remaining 6 folds of the path take care of themselves. Do this at least once every 12 hours or so, and within a week or two, you could master this path. That is what is meant by the great miracle. Well, we continue with the phrase, all qualities and capacities. Well, what's that a reference to? 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path pertains to loving kindness. Kindness of intention, kindness of communication, kindness of conduct, and kindness of commerce. To be able to do this, we experience something that some Buddhist authors refer to as expedient means. Other people would refer to them as miracle powers. And those 4 miracle powers fit under the 4 headings of pacifying certain things, increasing certain things, controlling, it's kind of like the Jedi mind trick, and wrathful actions. And that's either a literal or a metaphoric exorcism. Now, many people squander their life chasing after miracle powers. I know when I was much younger and much dumber, I squandered time and energy chasing miracle powers too. So imagine my surprise when learning of this teaching, that simply by noticing and relaxing in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our sympathetic nervous system and our parasympathetic nervous system, all these needs are fulfilled immediately from oneself. Part of the wonderful survival instincts we have is the fundamental duality to pull away from some things, like a finger from a hot stove, and reach for other things, like a falling man reaching for a branch, or the rung of a ladder. So these are hardwired into us. By simply noticing and relaxing into whatever dreads or desires we notice during our inhalation, that we notice spontaneously, habitually, easily, and oopsie, wrong one, that we notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. We spontaneously awaken our dormant abilities to respond to the dreads and desires of others in a very, very visceral, empowered way that comes from the flow state that is one of the fringe benefits of the authentic practice of mindfulness and meditation. Through visceral understanding of the authentic condition. What's the authentic condition? Well, conventionally, it's whatever we perceive during our inhalation. Sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Ultimately, it's the visceral release we experience as we relax into our exhalation. So all this comes simply through our practice, the authentic practice of mindfulness and meditation. If you have any questions about this, don't be shy. Type them in the chat window. Let's recite this an additional 3 times. Let's recite it in a distinctly relaxing manner. The great miracle is not difficult. All qualities and capacities immediately arise from oneself. Through visceral understanding of the authentic condition. The great miracle is not difficult. All qualities and capacities immediately arise from oneself. Through visceral understanding of the authentic condition. The great miracle is not difficult. All qualities and capacities immediately arise from oneself through visceral understanding of the authentic condition. Now, I'd like to share with you one last thought about the 4th conventional attainment, and that is the wrathful actions. One moment. In the contemporary practice of Buddhist Heist Yoga Tantra, wrathful actions are basically seen as Cho practice, or the slicing practice, and it's a 2-fold practice. First one pretends to perform a transference of consciousness, a rehearsal of the most auspicious form of our future and inevitable death. One then imagines looking down upon our cadaver and then chopping it up and heaping it upon us. This is going to sound really grotesque, very, very, all my goth friends are going to love this. And then heaping up this great big bloody mess and putting it in an enormous skull cup, balanced upon a tripod of 3 skulls, at the center of which is a fire. So it's kind of like the witch's cauldron at the beginning of the play Macbeth. And then the stuff inside is purified, transformed into bliss-inducing nectar, and multiplied to it becomes like a vast ocean of this bliss-inducing nectar, which is then offered to all the denizens of nirvana, all the Buddhas, and bodhisattvas, all the dakas and dharmapalas, all the adams, and all the dakinis. So all the real or imagined denizens of nirvana, and then the same substance is offered to all the denizens of samsara, to all the denizens of the literal or metaphoric hell realms, hungry ghost realms, animal realms, human realms, titan realms, and petty god realms. And the idea is that in addition to performing an act of devotion, and in addition to performing an act of generosity, we are paying back our karmic debtors, including the demons who are wreaking the literal or metaphoric demons that are wreaking havoc in a specific circumstance or family or individual. So that is the clunky, ritualistic, grotesque, difficult, baroque practice of Cho, practiced literally. So here's the funny thing. The most effective way of practicing it is not to practice it literally, but to practice it figuratively. So every time we breathe it, so every time we relax, it is as if our body is becoming, at least fleetingly, less tantalizing, less permanent, less defining, less tangible, as if it was dying, as if it was passing away. And at the very next in-breath, we return to our conventional perceptions, our perceptions of the external, the internal, the physical, the mental, the pleasurable, the painful, the interesting, the boring, the glorious, and the grotesque. During our in-breath, we immediately return to dread and desire. The dreads of samsara, the desires of nirvana, and all points in between. And so, in a very real sense, our inhalations noticing vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly is like the second half of the Cho. And our relaxing and releasing during our exhalation is like the first half of the Cho. So, welcome to the path, the lazy bastard path of enlightenment, where the easiest practice is the most powerful practice, where the easiest practice trumps the most complex ritual. Having completed the opening lesson, it is Obi-Wan Kenobi Wednesday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I could become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Come now, let us turn to the very latest iteration of very easy meditation practice text, or sadhana, if you're nasty. Please chant with me. Whatever comes may all beings notice, relax and flow. Whatever stays may all beings notice, relax and flow. Whatever goes may all beings notice, relax and flow. Upon the tip of our left little finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Every time we inhale, thanks to the sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to notice in a very special way. We are wired to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. What do we do with that which we notice? We meditate. You see, every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Therefore, during each inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and during each exhalation, let us silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb is. Upon the tip of our left ring finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energy to automatically coalesce at the navel region of our mid-abdomen. So, what some people find helpful is to silently and mentally recite Trom during the in-breath and ease during the out-breath for the first 5 breaths before returning to the simplicity of this ease. So we start off with Trom ease and then move to this ease. And I think I'm going to write this down so this makes more sense for everybody, because that way there's less guesswork involved. So let's do that. So if you've just joined, welcome aboard. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception. You know, sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, including the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. What do we do with that which we notice? We meditate. You see, every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are already wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. So what's the most efficient way to cooperate with our sympathetic as well as parasympathetic nervous systems? Simple. During each inhalation, we can silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. And during each exhalation, we can silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease. Remember, just during the first 5 inhalations, we'll recite trom. After that, it's this. I don't want to forget something, so I guess I'll come back to that. Never mind. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Let's go here. So I'm going to daringly make an edit. And now we return to this ease. Upon the tip of our left middle finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the heart region of our chest. Now, our chest is much more sensitive than our lower abdomen or our middle abdomen. So instead of reciting Hung 5 times, instead of silently and mentally reciting Hung Ease 5 times, you only have to do it about twice, really. Okay, thank you for your patience during my editing. So during the first 2 or 3 inhalations, we can silently and mentally recite Hung, and followed by Ease during the exhalation. During the remainder of the inhalations, we can silently and mentally recite this, as well as silently and mentally recite Ease during our exhalations. Upon the tips of each of our left fingers, we could rest the great knuckles at the base of our right fingers, palms up, in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the throat region of our neck. Specifically the part that kind of where we feel a lump in our throat just before we cry, that area. All right, how's about a bit of the old explanation, eh, kids? Let's discuss mindfulness. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, fleetingly notice dualities, such as pain and bliss. During our exhalation, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we're wired to both physically relax and mentally release so that that duality, such as pain and bliss, could feel like it was melting into the simplicity of just the physical. During the first one or two repetitions, inhalations, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable mantra Hri, followed by the one-syllable verb ease. During the remainder of our inhalations, let's do some quick math. 4, 8, 12, 72, no, 96. During our next, 94 breaths, inhalations, we'll be silently and mentally reciting this. And during our next 92 exhalations, we'll be reciting ease. Upon the tip of our left index finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the crown region of our head. Okay, thank you for your patience whilst I was editing. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever hatred we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was transforming into mirror-like wisdom. During the first two inhalations, we could recite Om. During the remaining 96 inhalations, we could recite this. During the entire 98 exhalations, we could silently and mentally recite ease. This correlates to noticing during our inhalation, and ease correlates to relaxing during our exhalation. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try an experiment here. Let's see if this works. It's 12, 14. Okay. 14 it is. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.